Looking at the actual market right now so far, we got Bitcoin at 83.5K today. Like I said, a catalyst today, some good news coming in with the CPI data, inflation data for Donald Trump coming in lower than expected. Not by a lot, but it was definitely cooler than expected, which is always good news. We don't know how true the numbers are. I said that during the last administration. I'll say it the same way here, but at least, whatever, the market's going to act positively to something like that. Ethereum just over $1,900 right now. It is pure and utter death spiral shit. And that's where we are with the prices of those two. I mean, we're catching up after a couple of weeks here, Ewok, and you can start with what we're seeing from Bitcoin. And like we know some of the key support levels were down there. It touched about 78K whenever we first started to move down last week. I think 72K is about where the weekly super trend would lie. And that should tell people that so far, this correction, as much as there's a lot of negative sentiment going around, it is pretty typical for a bull market to come back to these levels. I think where everybody's really hurting is obviously how absolutely disgusting Ethereum is. I mean, that's really what's killing everyone. But as far as Bitcoin, I mean, this is pretty much standard fare. And I think I get it narrative wise. Again, there's so much good news coming out. We had the strategic reserve announcement a couple of weeks ago, and then it wasn't exactly what everybody wanted, and yada, yada. There's all these things, news about tariffs. And I think people's heads are just spinning, trying to wrap it around. I'm not trying to act like the US controls the entire world, but it is a gigantic country and it does impact the world. And Trump, this transition, it hasn't even been 2 months. So there's a lot going on, and he's kind of announcing his arrival loudly, and there's these tariff wars going on. So a lot of people are like nervous and scared, and that's how things go with this. But we're seeing it in the markets for sure, not just crypto. So what do you make of this Bitcoin action as far as purely like a technical standpoint, but then also these other things swirling around just narrative wise?
Well, there's a lot of things to unpack. I mean, I still think there's a bunch of manipulation. I mean, there are still big players buying up Bitcoin. Yet the price is being held down somehow, some way. I'm not sure what's going on. When you look at these charts, though, and the place that we're in and the timing, I should have bookmarked the screenshot that I had seen earlier today. We're right about that run up position and time. I don't know if it goes another week or two or whatever it is, but before it really starts to take off on a parabolic upswing. And I think there are people that are like really suppressing the price so that they can buy. Not sure if the exchanges are in cahoots or who's got the market maker orders set. I have no idea, but it feels to me like there are so many signs of just bottom signals now more than ever. I've said it all along. I'm like, wow, that really looked like a bottom signal, but it wasn't. We had more down,
right?
And every time you say that, and there's even more down, it just seems to shake out even more people, and I'm seeing that all over the place. Like I said, I did unplug a bit, but I still stuck around Twitter enough to see the mentality of some folks that, normally being pretty bullish, start to change their tune. It's really taking its toll on a lot of people. As far as the whole economic thing, we kind of knew when they said they were going to start, we knew they were going to torch everything in order to rebuild. You almost have to. When you start cutting that many programs and that many things where you find this wasteful spending, it is going to have a trickle down effect. But in order to build it back up with what's essential, you have to get rid of a lot of waste. And it appears that, you're just burning the whole thing down. Well, I mean, I guess that's the best way to rebuild sometimes, is to start over from the foundation up. And, you mentioned the inflation going way down. Well, what happens when inflation goes down? Your spending power goes up, which means you get lower prices. I don't know if that's kind of what's triggering the stock market, where we're coming back to maybe a true sense of valuation, where these things should be, instead of overinflated values. Now, I don't think it happens that quickly, but again, you've got to start somewhere, right? You've got to start where people are valuing things for what they really should cost as far as the spending power of the dollar goes. So
Yeah.
I think that could play into a little bit of what's going on as well. And crypto is going to be affected just the same. So, again, you got to sometimes burn it down and start from the foundation again if you want to rebuild it properly. And I kind of think that's what's happening with the overall markets in general.
I think you're right. Yeah, with this reaction, I mean, we're just in a very volatile time with all this news happening again. Like I said, with the Trump administration, and people just reacting to all of it every single day in one way or another. And Fast Abdul made a great point here, that every cycle at some point everybody thinks it's over and they're wrong. And it's like another
Yeah.
great point is bull markets don't end when everybody thinks it's over. And everybody thinks it's over right now. You know what I mean? Bull markets end whenever there's no end for the good times in sight. And we've got Coinbase Super Bowl commercials and things like that. And that's just not where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Now, all that said, I mean, it hurts pretty bad. I mean, Ethereum is utter dog shit. And that's why, I'll get to Crypto Keeper's comment here where he's singling out PulseChain as the only thing that has no chance of going up, and it's the only thing down right now, which is just not true. Maybe that's not exactly what he said, but Ethereum is keeping everything down. I mean, nothing is going to move. You look at we've said it a million times the last few weeks. Look at the top 50 coins on like a coin market cap or something like that, ones that have come around, been around for previous cycles and things like that. Look at Polygon. Look at Polkadot. Look at these are tokens that were like top 10, borderline top 10 in market cap last time around. Look at their charts right now based on their highs last cycle. Phantom, Sonic,
there's
whatever.
Polkadot.
Yeah, bingo. I mean, it's look at where it's literally at like the bottom right now.
There's
log
Kusama.
Oh, okay. Yeah, which is
I'm just switching through
chart. Yeah, I got
There's
you.
Matic. Polygon.
Yeah.
It's below all time. Like,
I don't know if that's real. I imagine there's probably more to the beginning chart, but the point remains.
Well, this is the Coinbase chart. So whenever Coinbase actually picked it up, so I could probably find a different one. But either way,
yeah,
Ripple looks like the only thing that may be on a little bit of an upswing. And
yeah, because and I didn't even put this in the notes, but yeah, because there's no actual news yet, and it's probably a foregone conclusion. But the SEC looks like they're going to wrap up whatever there's left of their lawsuit against Ripple soon. So it's one of those things that's pumped. But I mean, what is it really going to do in the bull market? That's one of the. And then Solana. I mean, even if you look at it recently, I mean, we all know that 2024 was pretty much the year of Sol and the memes and everything like that. All those Morad memes are down 80+%, if not into the 90s.
Yeah.
Solana is at least 50% down, I want to say. Last I looked, I mean, it was up at $250.
126 right now.
Okay. So I think it's about 50% down from where it was. So